Well, welcome to the allegedly Dave Flat Earther Sovereign Citizen, sorry, Urine Advocate After Show. What a mouthful. And we'll be on the Non Sequitur Show Discord this evening. So give me a second to get to the Discord for the Non Sequitur Show. And we'll be over there and joining those people shortly. Hello, guys. They're in the after show chat. They're in the wrong place. Hold on a sec.
Hello?
Why are you in the after show chat?
Isn't that where we should be for the after show?
Well, not according to my setup. I don't know why this is even here. We're going into him and Hangout.
Him and Hangout? Okay.
Okay.
How are you guys going?
So I just looked up the size of a photo taken at 52 megapixels, and that single photo would be 90 megabytes. At least raw, uncompressed, 90 megabytes, which is a lot.
But here's the thing: it's 52 megapixels, but it's 16 images at the same time.
But
So
I wonder if
multiply that
each
by
camera,
16.
I wonder if each camera is 52, or if it's just like combined 52, or if it's like there's one 52 that does like the details, and then the other ones kind of fill in with other colored data or something.
I don't know.
Because that's like 16 times 52. That would be like, it would be almost a gigabyte. You know, 90 megabytes times 16. That's way more. That's just more than a gigabyte. I think it's maybe in total 52. Because then you're starting to get into like...
So 16 individual 13 megapixel cameras.
Okay, and they combine together to create like a final image that's about 52 megapixels.
Yeah, up to 52 million mega. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot.
Yeah.
There was a photo that I downloaded like a year ago that was taken by the Hubble, and it's the largest photo ever taken by the Hubble, I think. It's of the Andromeda Galaxy, and it's 4 gigapixels. You can zoom in and see like every individual star in
Guess
that
what?
picture. What?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They've also announced that it's going to start doing video soon. Okay, video at 2870 or 150 millimeter focal length.
Hey, so you can do like
So we're streaming, by the way.
Okay.
Cool. Hey, Dave.
Are there rules we need to abide by?
I was moderating that chat.
Which one?
The one you were just in. With Dave, allegedly.
We were only allegedly in it.
Allegedly.
Come on, you guys don't actually exist.
Oh my god, don't bring back solipsism, please.
No, that was about sovereign citizens. He was allegedly Dave because that's a state-given name, and he doesn't want to be accused of being the state person, so he's allegedly.
Oh, is he a sovereign citizen also?
You missed
you must have missed
he
that.
is so much woo, it's not even funny.
I wonder if he compares with the other guy. What's his name? The guy that was in the geek.
Oh,
Brother Ernest.
Brother
I wonder if
Ernest.
he compares at all with Brother Ernest.
Brother Ernest is batshit too. I'm just saying.
Because I'm gonna have to watch that live stream like tomorrow or something.
It was hilarious.
Did Kyle have to leave that show early because it said it streamed just an hour ago? So did they end up butting up because he was late?
Yeah.
I wonder if we can get Rags in here if he decides to stop playing Stardew Valley. But then again, that is a good game, so.
It is.
Why would you ever stop?
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember back in the day where Harvest Moon was considered really uncool. Then Stardew Valley was suddenly...
Is Steve going to be joining us later?
I don't know, George. I don't.
Okay.
I told Kyle about it, but I think they're both going to be busy for a while, so I don't think either one of them will be joining us. Steve said he was going to go help a friend. I don't know what that means. He wasn't specific, and he dropped out. And Caitlin was talking to Dave, allegedly Dave, rather, and don't want to out him to the government now. And then,
Do you guys know anything about the server called Evolution is a Lie? Somebody just sent me a invitation to join.
It's this guy. He sent me one too. Just
guy?
block him. I don't know. I don't even know who he was, but I just got it. And
What's his name?
I think it's a bunch of symbols, right?
Rice Ray.
Yeah, Rice Ray. He's the guy. I don't know.
It's BS. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, he's basically just trying to like advertise for his anti-science.
Alrighty. Thanks.
Because I looked at it, I joined for like 10 seconds and looked at the crap, and it's not worth your time.
Yeah, I get invites like that. The last one I got like that unsolicited was 24/7, and those guys were just really bonkers over there.
Yeah. It's really sad because my dad is very much like, a conspiracy theorist, and I try to like lean him out of it. Like, he like listens to Alex Jones and crap. It's really bad.
Oh yeah.
But luckily he doesn't live with me. No, he's cool, but he's a little woo sometimes.
Alex Jones.
He's like if the sky is clear, he's like, look at that, they decided to stop spraying today.
Oh God, the chemtrails.
Yeah, or and he believes in like Nibiru and shit, and I'm like, Dad, come on, please.
So what
stop.
is it that
Don't say that around Kyle.
So what is it that the elite that are behind this chemtrails, they have the anecdote or a pill that they give every member of their family every day to...
Yeah, no, they spray aluminum oxide into the atmosphere to dumb down the population, and then they take like pills to like reverse the effects on them.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it's totally...
give their family a pill every day to...
That's what my dad thinks. I don't
aluminum oxide?
I'd have to do the thing. I don't even know. Is aluminum oxide even
Yeah,
It's just rust. It's rusted aluminum. Aluminum oxide.
Yeah, that's a gray.
It's like a white powder.
That's a gray powder. You'll find aluminum when it sits outside.
They make
it's
no
a very
stick.
good insulator.
They make no stick pans out of it.
It's also one of the ingredients. It's also one of the ingredients in thermite, I might add.
They make no stick pans out of it too.
Yeah.
Well, thermite is actually iron
like
oxide and aluminum.
Yeah.
He thinks it's like
aluminum
oxide that dumbs you
Hey,
down.
there's hydrogen in
Iron
nukes,
oxide.
so obviously being human isn't good.
No, I make fun of him sometimes, and he gets really salty about it. I'll be like, Dad, you better look out. They're spraying those deadly dihydrogen monoxide crystals. And he's like, you better watch your mouth. You don't joke about that. This is serious stuff.
That's almost as silly as the. I remember hearing somebody told me a really fucking stupid joke a while ago. Two physicists walk into a restaurant. First one says, "I'll have some H2O," and the other one says, "I'll have some H2O too." Second one dies.
See, I've heard the other version of that joke, which is the second person, being an intellectual, just asked for water, and so the first person's plot has been foiled.
Isn't H2O2 just like hydrogen peroxide?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to drink that.
Poison in sufficient quantities.
Right.
Yeah,
if you drink a little bit, it won't kill you.
Hydrogen peroxide is a really good oxidizer.
If you ever put a dilute solution of hydrogen peroxide in your mouth, it will fizz up with a real white foam.
Or if you pour it on a wound, it'll do that too.
It tastes
Yeah,
disgusting.
it attacks organics.
It tastes absolutely disgusting.
Yes, it does.
Oh,
my mother used to actually have me. My mother used to have me swish my mouth with that stuff. She would
I was about to say
get a glass of water, put some hydrogen peroxide, and say, "Here, gargle with this." And
But you brush
that's what my dad does.
You
He
brush your
literally is
teeth with hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. It will clean your teeth.
Yeah, that's what my dad does. And then
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, well, what happens if I drink it? And he's like, well, do you drink your mouthwash? And I'm like, well, no. And he's like, okay, don't drink it.
No, it's actually really
He
good
could-
for cleaning the mouth, but
But
you
he
know,
won't use
future.
normal. he won't use normal toothpaste because obviously the fluoride in the water that turns the freaking frogs gay. So he won't use that
Oh
stuff.
fucking
Oh,
Christ!
he really believes that?
Oh,
Yeah, no, he's straight up like I tried really hard. I'm probably still gonna have to go, but I tried really hard to not go to his house over the summer because I'm getting a job anyway, so it doesn't. I'm probably not gonna go, but because every time I go down there, the whole time he's just like, he'll sit there and watch like every single morning, midday, afternoon, night. He's watching the Alex Jones live streams. The
Is he
whole
one of
No
time.
those-
offense, but he sounds straight up tinfoil hat.
No,
No
he
offense.
is. He's straight up like, Illuminati, secret society, but he's not religious. He's kind of religious.
Really?
He
Because
claims-
that's what I was about to ask.
He's kind of religious in the sense like, but he's entirely an untraditional. Like he doesn't follow any specific. Like he's weird because sometimes he's like, you got the Christians, you got the Muslims, some of them right, some of them are wrong. They're kind of both right, but then again, blah blah blah. And he's like, I don't fall in any particular. But I'm an atheist. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, that's cool and all, but. And he's like, well, you're an atheist. You need to believe in God. I'm like, well, which one? And he's like, I don't know. So he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know because he's.
Well, not that I think not that I have anything against the Alex Jones show, but I mean sometimes you got to take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt as well.
Yeah, some of it's like.
Because it is kind of fun to watch. I can't say
Yeah.
I don't watch it also, but I definitely don't watch it fucking daily.
Yeah,
I,
no,
like,
he's straight up
maybe once a week.
daily guy, and he'll watch the whole show from like the whole 3-4 hour show, and yeah, he's kind of like wonky. He buys all those supplements too. He's got the male vitality, brain force,
Oh,
DNA
that's all the
force.
stuff they shill on there.
Yeah, and I'm like, Dad, that shit doesn't work. Literally, it doesn't work because I've shown him the videos about people saying it literally says on the packaging, not approved. Does not
Not
guarantee
FDA
any.
approved.
Yeah,
does
because
not,
if
not
it
meant to
worked, it would be
treat,
FDA
cure, or
approved.
prevent any disease, blah 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 blah, and all that stuff. Yeah.
And then there's videos going into why those chemicals don't actually do anything. They might have a placebo effect, but other than that, it doesn't do anything. And he straight up shills out like $100 a month on this stuff.
Ooh.
Like he has the auto buy, so it automatically ships it to his house every month, and it's like $100 something a month. It's pretty insane. So.
Well, don't let him see the guy that was just on Non Sequitur, because I don't want to hear your father talking about drinking his piss.
No, I don't think I would let that happen. I'd have to just put him down.
Please don't.
No, I downloaded this app just to piss him off.
You're a flaming fascist.
Okay.
I walk around.
Pun probably not
Jones.
intended, but still funny.
I play the Alex Jones soundboard around the house.
People out, tell them that there's trisodium phosphate in their cereal. You ever seen that?
They'd like flip their shit.
It's
Trisodium phosphate.
Chemical that you can find in a paint store.
I played this like over my stereo, and he like came into my room and like unplugged it because he gets very defensive. I played the.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
And he got so angry, and he was like, "You need to stop mocking that."
Thing.
Yeah.
You guys seen
the prophet Alex?
Have you guys seen Tuckford, the Stephen Colbert parody of Alex Jones?
I think I've seen it on YouTube.
Oh I can't.
I gotta put them in. Let me put them in. It's hilarious. I mean, like he does it spot on.
No, the closest I had anything to that in my family was for a little while when I was younger. My mother was very anti-vaccine.
My dad's the same way. He's like, they put lead in there, and I'm like, yeah, they put like a few nanograms of lead in there, or it's almost undetectable.
Yeah, but that's in a lot of. I mean, like just like mercury is still in a lot of stuff that we eat, and also
it's literally there's less mercury and lead in vaccines than you would get exposed to in nature.
Exactly.
But they're like make a big fuss about it. I don't.
Well, especially considering what I do for a living, I'm exposed to pretty much you name a fucking dangerous chemical, and I'm exposed to it. I'm an auto mechanic, just so you know.
Yeah.
So I get exposed to lead. I get exposed to asbestos, all types of burning chemicals. I have metal stuck in my face. I actually can't even get an MRI because I have so much metal stuck in my face.
Rip the shit out of your face. Yeah, like he's one of the vaccines cause autism type of people,
Oh,
which
Jesus.
doesn't even make sense. I don't know how
that
vaccines
doesn't make sense.
It physically can't do that. But
That reminds me of. Have you ever seen the? It was who the hell was it that made the video? If Google was a guy.
oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Did you ever see that video? He goes, "Do vaccines cause autism?" I was like, "Well, I have 1 million results here that say no, and one that says yes." And she was like, "I knew it." And then the Google guy was like, "Just because I have it doesn't mean it's fucking true."
What's
love-
the Apple version of like the Play Store? It's
It's iTunes.
yeah,
iTunes, yeah. I don't know. I got an Android, so. I don't know.
yeah. I have one too.
As you should.
Of course, I like having
never-
a bit of flexibility
never-
on my phones.
I will never own an Apple anything. I'm an electronics tinkerer. I haven't had a single electronic device that I have not tinkered or played with in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
Includes my phone, my laptop, my TV, fucking my refrigerator. I play with electronics.
Do you have a Nintendo Switch yet? Because that's been opened up for Linux.
No, but I did hear about that. But to be perfectly honest, I don't really care too much about the Nintendo Switch. I'm pretty good with my. I still got my Xbox 360, but I have that set up so I can play burnt games and I can download games to it. So that's all. I'm good with that.
like on my phone, it's rooted and I have an app that lets me take full control over all the sensors. So like my phone has a barometer, a gyroscope, a magnetometer.
Oh yeah.
It's got a bunch of cool shit, and like I'll be driving in the car and I can tell what altitude I'm at because I have a freaking barometer. And you just can't access those on some Android or on some Apple devices.
I'm pretty sure mine does. I don't know. I don't have a particularly new phone. Mine's it's a Droid Turbo.
I don't want my electronics to be built like a nanny.
I had a Droid Razor and then I upgraded to a Note 5, and it's got like G-force meter, linear accelerometer, gyroscope.
Well, I had a Samsung. I had an S5 for a little while, but I didn't really like it, to be honest.
The skin that they have on it, that kind of upgrades the default Android. Sometimes I don't like. I kind of prefer default Android.
Well, basically what I've done in every phone that I've owned in the past probably 10 fucking years is I get them home and then I root them within 24 hours.
Yeah, I had a friend that rooted his phone and he could get free apps.
I can get free apps on mine also.
Yeah,
I don't want
to do it.
You don't even need to root it to get that.
Yeah,
to be perfectly honest.
I don't do that on my phone just because it has a warranty and they say it'll void your warranty. And
you don't need to root it to get the free apps. You don't need to root it to get the free
Well,
apps.
I just mean on this phone I don't root it. I have another phone I root it on, but I mean I guess you could get the free apps without rooting it.
If you do a titanium backup of the original OS before you root it, then if anything happens, you can restore it, and they will not be able to tell.
No, that's not true. You don't do a titanium backup. You do but you don't do it with titanium backup. You got to do a full Nandroid.
Yeah, that works too. But titanium supports that as well, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. That's a full Nandroid backup is actually basically taking a copy of the whole drive image.
So it's basically like the police do.
Titanium just copies the applications.
That's kind of like
so that leaves all
there's an NAND backup on titanium, I think. Like 80%.
Not that I've seen. Not that maybe that has changed recently, but I don't remember seeing that. But from when I've done it, I mean, just like when I start my phone up right now, the first thing that pops up on the screen is warning: bootloader is unlocked. This allows blah 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 blah. Critical system information can be compromised. Blah 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 blah. And I remember when I went and got the phone activated. The lady in the store turned it on and I was like, "Yeah, I know I did that intentionally."
Yeah, my older brother Chris puts I don't know how he did it, but he put something in the BIOS or whatever, the phone, that basically if anyone tried to flash his phone or to create a mirror of the files on his phone, it would, I don't know what, I think it would just like format it like several times.
Google actually has their phone set up to do that by default now. Like
yeah,
right
but it's
now,
like, you know, like if the police try to take your phone,
like
and they
this,
try to
like this phone that I'm holding in my hand right now, which was made in 2015, with no extra software on it, I cannot completely factory wipe this phone without the owner password.
Yeah.
Need to have the owner password, or I can't wipe it. So that's not something new, and that's not something that your brother specifically put into the BIOS. That's something that Google did to their phones, and they have been doing for quite a few years, which I actually perfectly think is that's a safe thing to do, because that way somebody can't steal my phone and then sell it as a different device.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you know, the FBI tried to get around that with the Apple phones way back in the, like, a few years ago. They tried to mandate that Apple give it over to them.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. But don't get me wrong. There are ways around it, and I do have ways around it, because I've actually got a few devices that I actually have to. I got to crack the phone open and solder it right onto the actual chip. It's this nifty little box called a eMMC Pro, specifically made for working with cell phone memory chips. And this can bypass that. But it's a pain in the ass. But it's doable. But I also had to pay $90-something for the fucking thing. So I bought it, and I've used it actually a few times, not to steal phones or anything like that. Actually, it was to recover data from destroyed phones that people wanted their data back from. Because sometimes not everybody will save their. Not everybody is as smart as to, like, say, like when I take pictures on there, I have it update to a Dropbox account and my Google Photos.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody thinks to do that, so it's just all on the phone, and especially not even all phones even have the little the memory chip. Mine doesn't have one, actually.
SD card.
Yeah, mine doesn't have an SD card.
Mine doesn't either.
And
it sucks.
Which I actually think kind of sucks. It's the first phone I ever had that didn't have an SD card. And actually, technically, this is also the first phone I had that doesn't have what would be considered a custom removable battery. I mean, I can get it out because I've had the thing apart. I've already had to replace the screen once because actually I got it for free. Somebody gave it to me and the screen was smashed to shit. So I went onto Amazon. They put all the screen, put a new one on. And, whoa, geez, if I knew it was that easy to fix, and I was like, it wasn't that easy to fix. I just know what the fuck to do.
Question: what chat should I use if I want to post a picture? Just general. Okay.
Has anybody else heard about?
Yeah, you can put it in stream chat because that doesn't show up at all in the stream, so it's safe.
Oh, okay. It's nothing like I wouldn't mind sharing. It's some of my like astrophotography stuff.
That would be cool.
I still have some of my pictures, yeah.
But this one's funny. This is a YouTube. It's speaking. This goes back to Alex Jones. They're called infoderps.
I love those.
Infoderps, is that what you called it?
Yes,
yeah,
they're infoderps. I'll play it. I'll stream them. I'll stream this one into the stream so you all can hear it.
Yeah, no,
that's a nice picture.
Yeah, I tried really hard to get rid of that like band of light, but I couldn't figure it out. But that's the 1200 millimeter. I stacked it with deep sky stacker. I had about 60 frames, so I got most of the noise out. But...
That's beautiful.
No, that looks like a very nice picture.
Yeah, I have a few other ones. This is a wide field one, just like in my backyard.
Oh wow.
That's just with the wide angle. It's like a 20 millimeter lens. And then this was before I got my big lens. I tried. This was the max zoom on my old lens.
That's still nice.
That
Yeah.
previous
Still
one
nice.
from your backyard, was that a long exposure?
Yes, that was a 45-second exposure at 20 millimeters.
I was gonna say doing some long exposure would probably be really nice.
You have to. I have a tracking mount. So on the first one, the Orion Nebula, that one is tracked. So each I have
Man,
60
it's really
frames.
pretty.
Yeah, thanks. There's 60 frames.
It is.
And each frame is 2 minutes because it's tracking. So I paid about $300 for this tracker that lets you mount your camera to it, and it's an equatorial tracker, which only works on a round Earth.
Well, that setup gives you some killer fucking photos, dude.
Yeah, I love it. All together, it's about $1,000 with all the gear, the camera, the mount, and that particular lens. But the bottom, the wide field one, you don't even need a tracker. You just need a tripod. So, I'm using the T6 for that one. The Canon T6. I got it for Christmas, so it's a good camera.
I hate to ask this question because I know it's kind of going to change the topic of what we're discussing right now, but I've been having some philosophical. Is it okay if I ask it first of all?
Yeah,
sure.
Go ahead.
Topics may vary.
Yeah, it's regarding presuppositional apologetics. I've been struggling with that recently.
Which
Struggling
type?
in what way?
Yeah, in which way? And
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you.
Well, we're asking in which way, and I would also be kind of questioning, which side of the fence you stand on while asking this.
Oh, I'm an atheist, an agnostic atheist.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been kind of confused because I've been doing fine so far, and I've debated some presuppositionists, but this one I've been debating currently. I mean, he's really been kicking my ass, and I don't know. Really, he is far more experienced with philosophy than me. But we just had a conversation recently. We're talking about realism and anti-realism, and he's an anti-realist.
You try pissing on it?
I've heard that fixes all the problems in life.
Yeah.
Okay, we should have saw that coming. All right, well, would you be able to say, maybe give an example argument that he would pose?
Yeah, what
Sure.
kind of anti-realist is he?
Sure, I don't really know, since I don't really know all the terminologies he was using, and he doesn't really explain, and he really gives long, drawn answers. But to go back to like his major presuppositional arguments against atheism, like our justification for morality and our justification for our senses being accurate, and how his worldview is.
Is he trying to do like the tag argument, like basically the
he's a
logical
Vantillian.
absolute?
Yeah, he's a
All right.
Vantillian.
My take on this is morality is subjective, and our senses are not trustworthy at all.
Of course they're not.
Yeah, I brought that up to him, but he says his worldview.
Any 3-year-old could tell you. Because object permanence is a thing.
Yeah, I did bring that up to him first. I did mention that to him, but he kept arguing that a subjective justification is just an opinion. It's not a justification.
That's the word subjective means opinion. That's fucking what it means. So yes, of course.
He says his worldview has an objective.
I would ask him to prove where his objective, where it comes from. And if he says the Bible or anything like that, then, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because he says,
fuck
this
off.
is what
Like,
he said.
then you could say, well, how does your Bible?
Your object sucks.
Yeah, I asked him, and he told me that his let's take order for example, and how the world is like in an order per se. God is his God is a God of order, so his worldview has justification, and atheism doesn't.
The world has order?
Yeah, I asked him about that. I asked him, like,
wait a minute.
The world does not fucking have
around. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
it's governed by laws, so, you know, but I wouldn't say it has order.
I would start
I'd
off by
probably
asking what
say
he thinks his God actually says is moral. If it's objective,
And I would also ask him to. I would also ask him to define what he thinks order is.
Okay.
Because if what this world is in is order, and it's God that presupposes that onto us, then why is it that man is the one that basically made the order in which we currently live on? God didn't, let's say God didn't give me my house. God didn't give me this computer to talk to you and on. Man gave me this. Man is the one that created all of this. So
Yeah, I've mentioned
man
that
is the one
actually.
creating the order.
I've mentioned that technically to him, and he says that since God is the creator and all powerful in all things, he created all of this, and basically we're just repurposing what he created.
No, Jesus Christ.
I know. The shit gets deeper. I know. It's like one of you guys mentioned morality. He says that God killing someone and God doing all those things that we hear in the Bible. Who are we to say that's wrong? What justification do we have?
Okay.
Because morality is subjective. That's how we can say that.
Common decency? I mean...
Exactly.
How can he say his God has the right to do it? That's
Because
all
the
you have
God
to
is
do.
God.
That's all you have to do is turn it right back around on a presuppositionalist. Just turn it right back around.
I know.
On them. Don't even argue with it
I
because
keep doing it until they get annoyed.
Right, do it till they get annoyed because
you know their answer.
You cannot try to justify
their
your
answer is
position.
going to be because God.
The answer is going to be that God's not bound by a moral code.
Then I would
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
well,
Gracie,
I would
yeah, what
say,
Gracie said.
I would say, well, I don't believe your God exists. So how do I know he's bound by? How can you say he's bound by it?
I don't believe your God has a moral code because, like I said, and I think most people in here would probably agree, as I said, morality is subjective for every fucking one of us.
Yeah, I told him that you can't get objectives without having a subjective morality first. The objectives are based off of subjectives. That's what I told him. I don't know if that's true. I think that's true.
Well, to a degree, I kind of do agree with that. I don't think, to be perfectly honest, I don't see morality being objective. End of sentence. I don't see that as ever happening.
Even if God came up with the morals, it's his idea of what morals should be.
Not only that,
and he also goes against his own morals. He goes against his own fucking morals.
Yeah,
we're not the only animals on this.
That's because he's better than his own morals.
The thing I was going to add to what Bull was saying is about when he said throw it back on him is focus on the need. This need to be a presuppositionalist is from the person. It's not like it actually exists as a logical argument. It's that they need, and yes, I know this is going to sound judgmental, and I'm making assertions here, but they need to have the world, the gray world, black and white. They need to be the one who's got the upper hand on the argument. They need to be the one who can go, haha, I'm right, you're wrong. That's a human need that they have that it needs to be fulfilled. And that's the only argument that fulfills it. So exposing that about the person, making it that you believe this because you have a psychological issue. You know, it's like the same thing with flat earthers. It's the same thing with conspiracy theorists. You know, that kind of thing. There's some kind of psychological deficit going on there that has to be addressed.
Well, the creationists actually at least do a little bit better of a job than the flat earthers, because the creationists will, well, barely a better job, because their answer is I don't know, therefore God.
Where do
yeah, that's what they all
That's
do.
not a good answer. That's not a good fucking answer.
Argument from ignorance.
Exactly. God of the gap sort of thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, the problem with all of it is once you get to something that's unfalsifiable and unprovable, you have to remain. You can.
there's nowhere to go either way.
Right, you have to remain agnostic in my eyes. Like you.
But would you say that all young Earth creationists are presuppers, or have to be?
By definition, religious people are presuppositionalists at some point, at some level. It's just a matter of degrees.
Actually, I kind of would agree with that. They're not all apologists, but yes.
Right.
Have you guys ever heard of Van Til's transcendental argument? Cornelius Van Til, he was a presuppositionist. Or
Which
Greg
one is
Manson.
this?
Just give
Have
me
you
a
guys?
brief overview of it. I'll tell you if I know it.
Before
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do
it's
that,
basically-
before you do that though, I gotta sign off, guys. But I will listen on YouTube. I can't be on here with a microphone, so I just want to say good night to everybody and thanks for having me.
Later, Jack.
Oh, this is being live streamed? Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie.
Yes.
Yeah, we're live. It's the after show.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, basically Van Til's transcendental argument. If I remember, I'll post a link. But it's not like Matt Slick's, but this basically addresses the nature of God. It addresses more of the nature of him. As I think, as I remember from Matt Slick's doesn't really define or characterize, I think, God in any way. Van Til's does that, I think. It's a really long argument and it's hard to explain, but I'll DM you.
Thinking Trady, please mute your mic when you're not talking.
Yes, I'm.
You're talking to me?
No, I was thinking Trady. I don't know what they're doing.
It was banging shit around in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you've got to define which God you're talking about. Or
yeah, when I ask him that, he just says the God. He just says God.
He's talking about
that
Yahweh.
So
God
ask
of which
is
The flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah.
if he's just going to say God, you should
Cthulhu.
be
Why
asking
not?
him
Why
what
not Cthulhu?
the
Thor.
aspects of God
sleeping.
are.
Don't you fucking bother him. He needs his nap, God.
Have you answered all these answers? All these questions?
Hey, did he have
this
his piss yet? Did he have his piss yet?
That's the ocean, man.
Oh my goodness.
This whole piss business, I swear.
Oh, when you lost it on that guy, Boo, and you were like, "This is your moderator or producer," and I got to say some shit right now. I busted out laughing. I was like, ah.
You know what was funny about that is everybody for a moment looked up.
Yes.
Everybody looked up. They're like,
God?
the voice
What
from
did you saw
beyond.
The voice of the P God is talking.
The voice from beyond. The voice with the end stream button is talking now.
I even said it in chat. I was like, "Wait, is
Speaking
that
of a
God?"
pee business, I wonder if you could bottle that and sell it to flat earthers, like premium pee. You know,
I'm like Mr. Dave, Mr. Allegedly
all
Dave.
all organic pee.
And we promise it's sterile.
gluten-free, organic, premium pee, only
Free range.
ingesting the finest mountain spring water created.
Yeah, I just posted the
Distilled.
argument. And
Distilled.
Okay, cool.
Gluten free.
It
Now,
lowers your
where should I put this red dot?
In the him and hangout title, like just rename it and add that, like
Got it.
colon red underscore circle colon, and then when live it'll be there. Just edit it when we're not live.
I don't know if it'll work that way, but yeah, okay.
Oh, it doesn't do it, does it?
Nope.
Well, how do you get the red dot in the live stream one up at the top?
Oh, that didn't work.
Hey, Gracie, I see you do like a lot of philosophy talks and stuff like that in the chats. Do you like study philosophy or?
I might minor in it.
Okay.
Might.
But yeah, I do care about that.
I don't know how they got it, but I can copy and paste it.
Because you're pretty good. Because I was like, you kind of changed my mind a little bit on our discussions about free will. So I mean,
in what way?
I kind of have trouble talking about philosophy. I will admit I do lean toward what they call the new atheist. side. And so I'm trying to go back and really study philosophy for myself.
Well, the way I'm defining free will is ultimately you still make your own decision. Because that would be what makes you free in that instance. Because there's no way you can deny the fact that no matter what you're doing, there is something influencing you. Either it's your subconscious or what other people are telling you, or like maybe you're hungry so you want to go eat, but you might not.
But like you, I see what you're saying. But you ultimately make the choice.
But do you? How do you
That's
know
the way I
that
see
your
it.
choices aren't based off of just?
Oh boy, here we go down free will. Okay, just point of order before we go down the rabbit hole of free will.
Okay.
I just want you all to know, since there's a preponderance of people that are normally here in the chat, when I'm actually streaming on Discord, the reason I don't get to DMs very quickly is because when OBS is running, it literally mutes my notifications, because if I was getting notifications, those would go out to the stream.
Okay.
Right. So it's like I don't notice till I look up at Discord, and who the fuck pays attention to the actual thing? I got
so basically just stream chat. Just post everything in stream chat.
Well, just like tell me, hey, look at DM.
Oh, okay.
Like literally in audio, say, hey, Booleanator, look at DM. Or you could, yeah, that's fine.
What's Red doing?
Stalking.
He's sleeping.
He's stalking.
He's either stalking or he's AFK and just in the thing.
He's not muted.
Sabaton, you're muted.
He's still in Walmart after dark though, so he's probably AFK.
Yeah, he passed out after the Brother Ernst thing. So.
That is where you go to sleep.
I should set that as the AFK channel.
Yeah, that's where people go to take naps in the furniture section.
In the furniture section.
Well, whatever furniture they have at Walmart.
So when you go AFK, you just end up in Walmart.
Yeah, at like 1 in the morning on like a couch or something.
Well, at least
like
it's not IKEA. The stuff's already put together. You know?
I think I'll tell Kyle. I'll be like, hey, we now have an official AFK channel. So when you go away from keyboard, you literally end up in Walmart.
Wait, is that what happened to me last Wednesday?
Because when we have our actual after dark chat, everybody will think we're away.
Is that kind of like how do you know a hippie's been to your house? He's still there.
Well, there's a timeout of 5 minutes. If you're not active in a voice channel for 5 minutes, and there's no AFK channel, it kicks you out. But if there's an AFK channel, it'll just move you to that channel.
Yeah.
And I do that every morning.
It'll mute you at the same time, so you're not actually broadcasting.
Okay. But what about the people that have been muted for more than 5 minutes? Why haven't they been kicked out? Like, I'm pretty sure B-Ton has been muted for more than 5 minutes.
I just got here.
No, he just arrived like 2 minutes ago.
Oh, I swear.
But,
I thought it was
now that there's an AFK, yeah, I do, but I'm not really paying attention to my phone right now either, because it makes all kinds of noises all day long. Like I literally look at, I ignore it. It's making so many noises with.
What were you on?
I have 2 monitors, and that makes it really easy to view the stream. And
can somebody hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to jump in.
Yeah, with my phone, I think I got too many notifications. Like YouTube, I turned off notifications completely for YouTube on there, because I just get the little. It doesn't make any noise. YouTube makes 0 noise, because when I want to watch something, I'll go in there and look at the little pop-ups, the push notifications, but they don't make noise. With Twitter, I go in there and tweets make a certain noise, and I kind of I'm thinking about turning that one off because I only look at Twitter when I want to as well.
Did I hear presuppositional? I came on because I heard that word.
Yeah, we were talking presups.
We were talking presups. Yeah.
Man, I haven't been into that in a while now. That's something. I rather enjoyed.
Yeah, he had some questions about some presuppositional apologists.
See, presups always get me because whenever I hear the word presup, I think of like Eric Hovind, and it just gives me like an itch on the back of my neck.
Oh, I don't like that guy, dude.
Well, what you should really be thinking is someone who believes that we are born into sin.
Yeah, they like to mention that a lot. Like immediately right out the gate.
Because that goes along with the presupposition.
Yeah,
that everyone knows God exists.
What was the presupposition on the presuppositionalist argument?
We were trying to, I was trying to get some of the arguments out of him, but he was basically he wasn't really that precise or exact on some of the things that actually here. Yeah, he's still in here. You can see.
I'm ready to elaborate more if you want.
Go for it.
Yeah,
I'll try. Like one of the arguments that they will mention is about they'll like to always mention justification. That the atheist worldview is irrational because it doesn't have justification for a moral system or a justification for knowing if our senses are real or not.
Yeah, I don't like that because whether or not my senses are real, I'm still experiencing something to the best of my knowledge. Yeah. Whether or not it's real or not.
Yeah, but they're using the presuppositional on revelation. So they're saying that God is the source of all knowledge, right? And if there was no God, right, we wouldn't know anything. So that's where
exactly spot on. That's exactly verbatim. Yeah.
Yeah, that's giving me the Hovind inch or the Eric Hovind inch.
So there's no real way to really argue that, except for to say that we're always all in the same position, right? It comes down to many things, like such as Hume's problem of induction, right? Like we can never know, you can try and solve it by saying that I presuppose that there's this all-knowing being, right? Like that gives me some bit of knowledge that I know to be true, right? But that's just by doing that, right? You're assuming at all times that God has perfect intentions, right? So that's the presupposition. You have to attack that.
You know that thing that Sci-10 does where he's like, can God reveal something to me such that I know for certain that it's true?
He could, but you would have no way of knowing that, right? Like he could be doing it and you could perceive it as that, right? But like, how do you know he's not tricking you?
And how do you know it's him?
Yeah, it could be anybody.
It could be Satan.
So you can never get rid of this problem, right? That's the only way to attack it, really, because if you try and go down the rabbit holes, it just never works, right? They'll never give in because their presupposition is the only thing that matters to them, that God exists and he gives them some bit of perfect knowledge.
I watched Matt D debate Sci-10, and when he got backed into a corner, he reverted to the whole, how do you know you're not a brain in a bat?
Yeah.
Right to solipsism.
The whole time.
Exactly.
That almost kind of reminds me of the stupid fucking thing I heard. I think it was Thunderfoot and
Eric Hovind.
Who was it? Eric Hovind. He's like, how do you know you exist? And he just wouldn't shut the fuck up about how do you know you exist.
And then he said, I don't know. It's an assumption. And then he's like, well, how do you know? And he's like, it's an assumption.
And it's a reasonable one.
You know exactly the one I'm talking about.
Yes, because I watched that video like 4 times, and every time I watch it, I lose like 20 fucking IQ points.
Yeah, it was.
That stupid stare when Thunderfoot's trying to explain how it's an assumption, but he just keeps repeating. Well, how do you know?
And I like watching that. Like you can see.
He didn't
Thunderfoot
even get,
wants to facepalm so fucking hard.
He does facepalm at one point. So.
He didn't even get to the third assumption. He could barely get the second one out.
The first assumption was like
I exist.
He couldn't even get all of his argument out.
No, that's not an assumption.
Can somebody link this?
Yeah, I'll find it real quick.
What the video? Oh, it's not too hard to find.
No,
it's not too. Yeah, it's out there. It's been watched.
It's the
it's on YouTube. It's been watched.
Just search for Thunderfoot retard counter and
Yeah.
you'll find it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They got the retard counter
There,
at the
I got
bottom
it.
of the
I got it right here.
So,
right there.
I gotta run, guys, for a little bit, but I might be back around later.
Okay.
If you need help setting stuff up later,
Assumption
boys,
is something you
See,
cannot
he
know.
actually falls into some of the traps that the precepts set up, right? Like the main thing, right, is that anybody that's kind of on our side here, it kind of argues with some sort of intellectual integrity, right? Like we try not to say that we can know anything for sure, right? Because we technically can't, right? Like, but once you say that, right? Once you say that, right, you've already lost.
It already kind of poisons the well.
Look,
It's they're using your own honesty.
Like I said, it poisons the well.
Right. The trick is to never do that, right, and then put it back onto them, right? You have to do that. If
takes some skill.
It doesn't actually. It's really easy. As soon as you know, once it's a pre-supper, you just know to never be that intellectually honest. Like, you don't have to lie, right? But like, you should never give that in. Like, you can say, I know one thing for sure, and that is that we are experiencing, like, I am experiencing something. Something exists here that I'm perceiving. If I wasn't, then I wouldn't be perceiving. I wouldn't be here, right? That's the one thing that you know, that there is something, whether it's from a God's revelation or whether it's from some other point of view, right? Something is happening here. Otherwise, and yeah.
Thunderfoot tried to do that actually during the video. He said, "I know one thing for certain, and that's that I'm not God."
Yeah, but that doesn't work, right? That
I
doesn't
think he
do
was
anything.
joking, but still.
There's only one assumption, or there's one thing that you absolutely know, because there's only one thing you can't deny, and that's that you exist. Because by trying to deny that you exist is using a faculty of your existence.
Well, then by that logic, I would say Thunderfoot actually kind of failed in his argument.
You could be a
because he
Boltzmann
said
brain.
that
Yeah, he did.
You could be a Boltzmann brain.
He did pretty good, though. I mean,
No,
it's as good as you can
Thunderfoot's
do.
not a dumb fuck. I think nobody in here would say Thunderfoot's a dumb fuck.
But plus, this is an old video. This was back in the early, like,
Yeah,
atheist days on
it
YouTube,
was an
and-
old video, yeah.
And the arguments weren't quite as refined, I guess. And he's definitely not used to dealing with a freaking liar like that.
When I first met a precept, right, like, I freaking failed miserably, right, because I didn't know anything about what was going on.
Well, the first pre-supper I met was a hillbilly Christian.
He's stupid, though.
He's stupid, but he doesn't give up. He just keeps at you and at you and at you. And he's a piece of shit on top of it. Like, he believes some horrible things. Like,
I hate to say it, but I actually used to be one. I did. No, I really did. I used to be one up until I was probably about like maybe 15. But I was raised in a ridiculously strict born-again Christian household. And I just didn't agree with yeah. It was interesting in and of itself, but anyway, and then it was mostly just from my mother's side. My father was, and my mother probably still is. I don't know. She's moved across the country, and I really talked to her a whole lot. My father, I would probably put more on the agnostic side, because I think my father just doesn't fucking care about religion.
But was it until you turned 15 that you actually started asking yourself the questions instead of just listening to the answers that you already told?
I started, when I was probably about 12 is when I started asking questions. And then I started getting a lot of backlash because I was asking those questions. So instead of asking those questions, I just went out and did my own fucking research. And then that's kind of when the whole basically the philosophical house of cards just kind of fell the fuck apart to me. Like, I didn't see how a lot of this made sense. I didn't see how a lot of it tied together. And the more I looked into it, the worse it sucked.
Exactly, because none of it makes sense and none of it ties together. It's all just made up bullshit.
I went to a Christian school.
So did I. I went up until my 5th grade. I went to it was a Christian Bible Academy.
I went to Kingwood Christian School in Birmingham, Alabama.
I went to Fellowship Bible Christian Fellowship Bible Christian School in Andover, Mass.
Did they teach young Earth?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Mine.
But
I never got into it.
But they do still teach. They do still teach globe Earth. They don't.
They teach both. They teach both. No, my bad. I thought you meant they teach old Earth and young Earth.
No, they teach young Earth. They kind of like to skate around the old Earth stuff, like all the fossils and the world's only 6,000 years old. Oh, but then here's this tree that's 10,000 years old. What?
We'll just ignore
they
that.
Skate around. They skate around that crap.
That's the devil.
I got out when I was in 5th grade, though, so I wasn't in there for too long.
But they did not teach flat Earth. They did teach globe Earth.
They were just good enough to not teach flat Earth. They didn't go down that.
Good God, I'm glad they didn't.
But I do remember some of it.
Well, if they did, I probably would have bounced from that a long time ago. Before that, actually, because I'd probably say,
well, like
I would have put myself as an agnostic at 16, and then probably maybe around 2021 is really what I would have placed myself as, just a straight up atheist.
I'm only 16, and I got out. I got out
37,
when I was,
so
yeah, I got out when I was in 5th grade, and then I went to just a normal public school. But the whole time that I was in there, and they were teaching young Earth, I had a computer at home, and I watched YouTube videos, and I've always been like a big science dude, so I'd see the YouTube videos talking about like Discovery Channel shit, TV, talking about older stuff, and then the younger stuff, and then I looked into it, and I remember this one time in class, my teacher actually said that the largest star was the sun, and I said,
"What?
No, it's not."
Fucking God.
At that time, I think in 5th grade, it was VY Canis Majoris that was the largest star. And I told her no, it's VY Canis Majoris.
Aside from the what the hell is it? Alpha.
It's Centauri? Like Alpha Centauri, or no, it's like
Alpha Proximus or I can't remember the exact name of it, but
Proximus Centauri.
Alpha, yeah.
Alpha
Proximus Centauri. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, but so we would I said that, and she was like, so I just Googled it because at that time, like we still there were a few kids with iPods, and I borrowed one and I looked it up, and then she was like, well, we don't believe that, and I was like, that's a little funky, and that was in 5th grade, and then I went to a normal public school after that. My parents got divorced. I went with my mom and kind of left my kind of psychopathic, insane dad, and then like started just studying it on my own, and then I'd say probably around 13 or 14, about 2 or 3 years ago is when I would say I became an atheist.
No, I'm actually really glad that there is actually the amount of information that you have accessible to you at the age you are right now. I wish I did, because when I was doing this was when this is in the 90s, which the internet wasn't really all over the place yet. I was just starting to kind of scratch into getting into AOL and stuff like that. But
yeah, the internet was just born when we were coming up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even now, the best information is behind paywalls and university sites that you can't get access to sometimes.
I kind of disagree with that. To a degree, I do kind of disagree with that a little bit.
There are some pretty good open,
there is a pretty damn decent amount of open information can be had for free. There's a lot.
You can watch.
I mean, yeah, there are paywall stuff, but
you can watch any of MIT's classes online for free, like any of the lectures and shit.
Yeah, like the some of the older MIT lectures you can find on YouTube.
No, I mean like on their website you can like sit in for free on any
yeah,
of
that's right.
the lectures. And like you could pretty much take any of their classes, but like you'd never get a degree for it, but you can pretty much get all the information.
You can
that
still
they
learn
give
the exact
freely.
same, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, kind of what I was getting at was that asking you about, you know, your age and when you started thinking about this stuff. Was there one particular thing that actually tipped the balance that, you know, hey, I got to go this way instead of that way from now on?
Who are you asking, me?
Any of you guys who were saying that you were brought up in the, you know, religious type households.
I don't know if I would say there was anything that particularly like one specific key moment that tipped the balance. There was, I believe it was the summer of 96, I believe it was. The summer of 96, where I was just buried in books, reading everything I can about actually multiple religions. I was even learning about Judaism. I was learning about Islam. I was learning about all different types of religions, and then compared them to the one that I was raised on, and I kind of kept on noticing the same. I hate to say it a different way. I don't hate to say it, but the same bullshit pattern.
Well, what kind of got me...
And it was over...
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say what kind of did it for me was like what started me on the whole thing was like when I started reading the Quran, and I realized where they kind of started differing their stories was who was the chosen son of Abraham.
Were you raised Muslim?
No. I read the Quran in '96 when I was in the military because there was a guy who was converting to Muslim, and you know there's always somebody converting to Islam.
What were you raised, if I might ask?
I was Lutheran.
Okay.
And I was like, I asked him. I said, "Hey, why are you doing this?" And he said, "Well, here, you can read my Quran for a little bit." So I started reading, and I'm like, "This is the same story basically as the Bible," until I got to Abraham, to the story of Abraham and Isaac and Hagar and Sarah. And Ishmael came up, and I'm like, wait a second. This isn't what the Bible says. This is where it starts getting different. Aha. Got it. Okay. And that's when I stopped reading the Quran. I'm like, okay, so they're basically the same God. And that's what kind of got me interested in different religions. And like him, like probably what you went through, anarchy, it's probably a similar process. It's just like, hey, once you start looking at different religions, it's kind of like travel. Travel makes you not see the world the same way. It's really hard to be racist after being travel. It's really hard to do that.
It's better if you're not raised that way in the first place, but
yeah, but it's really tough after you've traveled to be down on people at all.
Yeah.
With me, I would say that let's see, I was never like super hardcore about it to begin with. I was kind of like one of those, yeah, I believe in it type of guys, but I never really like took it seriously because after like 5th grade, we never really went to church, so I didn't really get exposed to it that much. But it was actually when I found Aaron Ross' channel, and I saw some of his videos, and yeah, that's pretty much.
Listen to.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's fun.
Yeah, it's foundational falsehood to creationism.
Yeah. Those types of videos kind of like lean me more towards atheism, and then over the past couple years, I just kind of just reading up on it. Yeah.
And just kind of it just kind of drifted off for you.
Yeah.
It seems
I don't really take it. I don't think about it as like ever anymore.
If you don't mind me answering, also.
Okay, I just want to put this out here. We're having like an atheist confession right here.
This is our atheist like sit around and like campfire.
Our deconversion stories.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we did that in
These
the
are campfire stories.
in one
That's
of
a
the
good way of putting it,
channels.
actually. I like that. I like that.
See, I was my mom like really pushed it on me, like as much as she could. Like I had one of those like illustrated children's Bibles, like on the bookshelf next to the bed.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. And
Same.
I read Charlotte's Web when I was like 6, and Charlotte died, and I was like, I cried for days, and I was just devastated, and I just could not believe that when you die, that it just seemed like everything I learned about the human body is that the brain is a bunch of chemical reactions, and I figured once that stops, once those reactions stop, you can't be anymore. Like, how can they say that a person died and rose from the grave? And like, I couldn't buy any of it. And like,
well, that's because that's reality.
Yeah, well, and I was only because I remember September 11th happened like a year after that. I'm 23. I was born in 1994.
A lot of y'all stories are much harder than mine.
Well, mine gets deeper than that, though. Like, because, I got, like, the sexuality issue in there, and I got the whole trying to conform to society, and my ex was a Catholic, and I was trying to explore other subsets of Christianity first. Like, I converted to Mormonism while I was in college. And
so you roamed around a little bit.
Yeah, when I was in college, I went to Mormonism, but I didn't really explore it that deeply because the Mormons try to tell you which church to go to. And the church they wanted me to go to was literally across town, and I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and God forbid, I'm a poor little college student, don't have really any transportation. I'm like,
God will provide.
No, and God didn't provide. I'm just like, no, I'm not. I literally have no way to get there.
That's how it works.
Like, how am I supposed to get there? So it's like, I didn't really get into it that much. I even asked them. I said, if somebody's going there, but it was the youth stake center. So the youth, the young people were all poor too. They were just riding their bicycles and stuff, and it's like, you guys are nuts, man. And you're supposed to, the Mormons, you're supposed to go on a mission, right?
Oh, the pilgrimage or whatever they call it.
And this is what kind of killed the whole thing for me, because after college, I was supposed to get a job, save up a bunch of money, and go on a mission, because you're not supposed to work while you're on a mission, but you still have to cover your expenses because they're not paying for your room and board wherever it is you're doing your mission. And all you're supposed to do is go out and try to convert people, which is basically a nice way of saying you're going to get the door slammed in your face all day. So I'm just like, the hell with you. I went to college to get a degree in computer electronics and robotics, and now you want me to not use that degree to make the money to support myself. And if I do get a job making the money to support myself, then you want me to give that job up so that I can go on a mission, because they're not going to let me just take off for 2 years. They're not. I would literally have to quit my job to go do this. Fuck you.
Wow.
That's basically
which religion were you first brought up? And I'm assuming it was your parents that were Lutheran. Oh, that's right, you did Lutheran. Okay.
It was
and I'm
my
assuming
mom.
it was your parents that pressed that. Yeah.
It was my mom. My dad was. I think he's been atheist my whole life. I just never realized it. Like, he didn't really go to church with us, and now I know he's an atheist. But he's didn't.
I've kind of noticed that the same thing, at least with my and actually, my mother was born into a very Catholic household. My whole mother's side of the family is all very Catholic, and my mother's the Christian one. I have no idea how that happened, but it did. And then my father is not any of that. My father's side of the family is Catholic-ish, but after being around them, they don't really. They say they're Catholic, but that's as far as it goes. My mother was the one that actually, she would be dragging me and my brother to. We'd have to go to Sunday school. We'd have to go to church on Sunday afternoon. We'd be going to Wednesday Bible studies. She dragged us to all that stuff.
I actually have a friend right now who's an atheist, but he still goes to like Bible studies and stuff because his parents kind of make him, and no one at his church knows he's an atheist. So but he's super open about it at school. He's just like, everyone knows he's an atheist, but no one from his church knows. And it was really funny because one day somehow they found out, and then like he couldn't go. They just wouldn't let him. It was really like.
Wouldn't let him go to the church anymore?
Yeah, they're just, you don't belong here, blah blah. You need to get your stuff straight. Wow. It was really weird, but he actually liked going to Bible study because it gave him an opportunity to learn some stuff about it, so that he could possibly, I don't know, like have better arguments.
And one of the things I actually really like, really, honest to God, one of my favorite things about the atheist community and actually trying to be part of the atheist community is somebody comes in here with a question, they'll get an answer, and they're not going to get oh, well, you know what, you just don't need to read the Bible, you just didn't read the Bible enough, you just need to believe. Well, actually, like, if somebody comes in here with a realistic, you come in here with an open mind, there are people in here with an open mind that will give you answers as well. And if you come in here and you're not being a complete dickhead asshole, people aren't going to be a dickhead asshole to you either. If somebody comes in here scoffing and saying, oh, all you heathens don't know crap and blah, blah, blah.
You just want to sin.
Yeah, okay. Well, as the Bible says, you reap what you sow. But realistically, that is kind of true. You know, you treat someone like an asshole, what do you expect to get back? Simple as that.
Exactly.
But well, I think that's just common human nature. That doesn't really have anything to do with the Bible. That's just human nature.
You get what you give. That's just how it works.
Exactly. But that's not how it works when you're trying to talk to someone in a theologist. You don't get that. Once you start questioning them, you can almost hear it pucker right up, and then they just start saying, "Oh God, no! You just, you know what? You don't even care. You're just in the sin." I've actually had these people do it. Like I remember it was 98. I think it was the and I was actually no 97. I had a couple of questions for the pastor at the church that my mother was bringing me to, and he got really, really offended that I had all of these questions, because there was things that I just didn't understood and didn't make sense to me. This was 20 years ago, so don't ask me to remember what the questions were. But, well, okay, I can't remember what I did 20 days ago, let alone 20 years ago.
Hey, it's fair.
But, I mean, well...
I'm just laughing because it's funny.
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Well, I'm talking about how
I was joking.
atheist-minded people tend to be a lot more open-minded and even more, and actually more accepting than theologist-minded people.
Yeah, but like that would make sense, because when you think about it, the only thing that atheists, for the most part, have in common is that disbelief. So you can be pretty much anything else as long as you don't. As long as you don't have a God belief.
That's actually kind of one of the things that pisses me off. Some of these people I hear argue as well, is they say atheism is a religion because it takes faith to not believe. And I would ask them, okay, if atheism is a religion, then what would you call somebody who does not have a religion? Because that's what I want to identify as. Somebody who does not have an a religion. What would you call that person?
Or when they say you have an atheist worldview, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is an atheist worldview?
You have an A unicorn worldview.
I have an worldview.
Yeah, usually.
Fuck you. I was just about to say that. I literally was just about to say that.
Either humanist, existentialist, or a nihilist is usually what they mean.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm still a little.
A lot of them seem to think nihilist is the default answer too, which drives me absolutely bonkers, because I don't think I have a purposeless life. I make my own purpose.
Well, exactly. There's positive nihilism, which is like you accept the reality that there isn't an overall purpose, but you can still make your own. That's like positive nihilism.
Well,
I'm an existential.
That's existentialism.
That's actually,
Yeah,
I was going to say it's existentialism, not nihilism.
To be perfectly honest, I don't even understand the purpose of asking what's my purpose in life. I don't even see a purpose to asking that. Like,
why does there have to be a purpose?
Exactly.
And plenty of studies have shown that when you go looking for that question, you end up unhappy.
I don't see a purpose to asking that. I really don't. Why does there have to be a fucking purpose?
Did you presuppose astrology? Anybody who knows what I'm talking about.
I do not.
I don't, but I have a feeling. Fuck you.
No, don't.
No. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's comic relief. Trust me. It's not against you. It's nothing bad. Anarchy. There's this YouTuber called Dolo the Pilot Man, and I'm really surprised he hasn't actually done anything on him, because Professor Stick and he probably would get a real kick out of his videos.
Oh, he's funny. He's funny as crap.
But, like, since some of my close friends kind of know that I'm an atheist, one of them told one of their really, really Christian, like, straight up, like, we have a thing at our school called, like, the CLC, which is, like, Christian Learning Center, and somehow they managed to, like, I don't know how they do it, but because technically the actual building for the CLC is off school property, there's no like laws against it, so literally you get on a bus and you go down there, and it actually counts as credits. But anyway, there's a girl that goes there, and she's like hardcore, like, biblical literalist type. She came up to me and she's like, "So what do you think happens when you die?" And I'm like, "I don't know. All I know is I wasn't all that upset for those billions of years before I was born, so I don't think I can be that upset those billion years and infinite amount of time after I die." And she was just like, I don't understand. Like, to me, that answer seems perfectly reasonable.
Well, yeah.
John,
I
we were
mean,
expecting you to say it was awful.
Completely agree with that. Yeah.
But it's like they can't accept that for some reason. It's like they can't accept the concept of non-existence. You know, you can't be bummed out that you don't exist.
So I would ask them if they don't understand non-existence. Does that mean that they believe in reincarnation then?
well,
I don't know.
the concept is they're here. They have consciousness. They have the perception of self. Therefore, the self-preservation instinct that we have, the fight or flight instinct, is there. So, I mean, psychologically, it's very reasonable to
That's an animal instinct. Yeah.
It's to fight or flight, death, but you can't fight it, and you can't run away from it. So we make up this afterlife. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. We're going to continue on after death in some way.
But I don't have a problem with that. You know,
and that's where the afterlife comes from.
They,
it's a psychological coping factor.
It's just because they criticize me for believing what I believe. Just like, you know, they can't let it go. They're just like, oh, how can you believe that?
To me, it sounds like they criticize you on not believing what they believe.
Actually,
that's kind of what it sounds like.
Right, but everybody's idea of the afterlife is going to conform to their local region. Because, like, as a child, you're going to ask your parents, "Well, what happens when you die?" And that's where your idea of religion or afterlife, and that's where the organization loosely came from, and then the dogma comes from later. So,
who wants to hear my
dark? I would absolutely agree.
Said, who wants to hear my dark deconversion story?
Sure.
Let's hear it.
By all means. Stage is yours, Clockwork.
All right,
I'll get the candles.
Get the beer. Don't forget the candles, man. Get the beer.
All right, I'll grab a shot for this.
All right. Well, I was kind of on the fence up until about, how long has it been? 10 or 12 years ago. My father's mother died of cancer, and she suffered and she suffered and she suffered for like weeks on end, and finally it just ate her up from the inside. And then after that, I was agnostic about whether God exists. I was like, well, I don't know, because this was kind of fucked up what happened to my grandma, and she was a really good person. Well, then last year I watched cancer burn through my dad in 2 months, and the way he died was horrific. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I mean, there toward the end, all he could do was sit in his chair and shake. He was in so much pain. And no matter how much morphine you gave him, he would still sit there and shake. Well, he finally went to the hospice, and they gave him, I guess, enough to ease his pain. And then the next day he died. But after that, I was like, there is no way there's any kind of God in any kind of universe that would let this happen to a good man like my father. Because he was a good guy. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but he did the best he could. And he was a Bible-believing Christian.
He raised you to the man you are. He's a good man.
And he was even a Bible-believing Christian. They went to church, a primitive Baptist church, but they went to church and they believed. And I just can't see a God that would do that to a good man like my father and a good woman like my grandmother. So I don't believe. And that's what finally deconverted me. I'm like, fuck it. There's no proof of God anywhere that I can see.
No, I still have my father in my life. Actually, I'm very close with my father. He actually lives in the same town as I do. My mother is. Like I said, I'm in Massachusetts. My father lives in. My mother lives in Arizona, so that's not even close.
Dad taught me how to hunt and fish. So I mean, if society went to hell tomorrow, I'd be able to find food. You know, because of my dad. The only thing I would probably say my father really taught me is my father taught me what hard work earns you. Well, no, he taught
be
me
honest.
that too. He taught me that too.
That's because my father was an electrician for 32 years, so I'm not an electrician. I have a reasonable amount of electrician knowledge. Like, I'm not certified in any of that stuff, but I don't care to be. I'm certified as a auto mechanic. My brother, on the other hand, was going to be an electrician, and then he went into computer electronics engineering, and now he works for Raytheon. So that's the other side. But he definitely taught us both hard work pays off. Sometimes you really gotta go out there and you gotta go out there and bust your ass to make your worth as a man.
Oh yeah,
and that's
hey,
kind of,
wait a minute.
That's
no clip. Are you talking about my accent in the chat?
No, I'm talking about my accent in the chat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Him and Wisdom Vendor, because y'all are from the South.
No, I talk with enough people. Actually, you know what? I like Clockwork's accent. I do. I like his
Yeah, where are
accent.
you from, Clockwork?
Virginia.
Oh, my family's from Virginia. I just happen to live in Texas right now.
Texas?
Yeah, Texas.
Texas.
I don't know how long I would have to stay in Florida to get my accent back, but
Florida, that state that dumpster fire.
it is. It is a train wreck waiting to happen.
Well, at least you ain't in California.
Oh, come on.
California went to shit.
Where Time Lord is now.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I don't.
But at the same time, half of the state wants to split into another one right now. So
I've heard it wants to split into 3. Last I saw.
I thought it was 5.
Yeah, there's been a couple different proposals.
I thought it was 10.
And politics is a wonderful place to stop the stream, so I'm going to go stop it. Alright guys, thanks for joining me this evening on the Allegedly Dave, Flat Earther, Sovereign Citizen, and Urine Advocate after show. What a mouthful, and what a character of a man. Nothing could please him, but he didn't know shit. He knew piss, but he didn't know shit. And on that note, good night.